So Andre Drummond is a Laker, and this was kind of expected, but I just want to record it actually now because it was made official today, but everybody else was already expecting it. They made videos and all that stuff on it, but if you guys want to leave a like and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it. But let's just get right to the topic. So with this move, it kind of seems like they just fought back the LaMarcus Aldridge move from the Nets, but it is still a good one, and it will be for them. They mainly made this move, I believe, because of the Mark Gasol experiment. Didn't really work out too well for them. Mark is kind of bad now. He can still be productive. But with this move in the big man rotation, I believe Mark will be out of the rotation, basically. And if you want to say, okay, you're going to have Andre starting with at the center, of course, 80 at the power forward, which I kind of don't like that because I do believe Anthony Davis works best at the center. But either way, Andre Drummond to the Lakers was an amazing move for them. You got him on a buyout, and you don't have his huge contract. The main reason why nobody wanted him in the first place. But will Andre be back with this team after this season? Really depends on how it works out. But I do believe he will be. It's kind of like with LaMarcus. I don't know about him. I don't believe he's going to be back. I believe he's just like a 1-year experiment type thing. But Andre is going to be an interesting case because I've had an iffy opinion on Andre because he can put out amazing rebounding numbers. Of course, one of the best in the league. Personally, keep that in mind. He can play good defense. He can just do the basic big man things. But especially in 2021, you would rather have a big man who can actually stretch the floor for you, play amazing defense. But like I said before, if Andre played in the Michael Jordan era, Andre would have been one of the best big men ever to actually play. But he plays in this era, and that's why people really don't value him as much as they probably should. But just to continue on Andre specifically, Andre can arguably be a big piece for this team. And recently there was a lot of talk about these big teams getting good players, quote unquote, on the buyout market, and it's just kind of a good argument on their part. But if we just talk about how this can potentially affect other teams and how they deal, because basically the argument is with if you're a bigger market, for example, Brooklyn, LA, teams like that, if you're a bigger market and a good player gets bought out for whatever reason, a big contract, whatever, you have a better chance of getting that player compared to a team like Portland, maybe, because they don't have much, or they're just not a big market. But Andre is going to be a good piece for this team. He should be the starting center for sure. And I believe his first game, I'm not sure when you're going to be seeing this video, but his first game should be with the Bucks actually on Wednesday, which is Tuesday. No, Wednesday. Sorry, I'm confused. But yeah, it's tomorrow. So I'm not sure when you're actually going to be seeing this video. But again, Andre Drummond is an interesting player because people like to have conversations. Does he lead your team to wins? Does he actually impact a good team? And for the Lakers, I believe they will, because obviously the Marc Gasol experiment for them did not work out too well. He's getting old, and I believe his playing time now is going to be heavily decreased, especially with Montrezl Harrell as the backup. But yeah, Andre is just going to be a rebounding machine, defensive player. He's going to be just the guy to hold everything down. And especially when AD and LeBron is out, he's probably going to have a lot of responsibilities compared to everybody else, compared to Dennis Schroeder and Montrezl Harrell. And I've seen a few tweets saying Lakers fan is going to give Andre the Danny Green treatment soon. That was kind of funny. Basically, whenever he messes up, you know, how they treated Danny, basically. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens. And I might be making a video on this soon, but the title race is kind of wide open because everybody is saying it's going to be the Lakers versus Brooklyn, but it's these underrated teams, not even underrated, but just teams who's got left out the conversation because of other teams just getting better. For example, Milwaukee, they have always been in the title contention, but with Brooklyn getting better, with the Sixers making moves, they just kind of got pushed out to the side, but they still have a very good chance of actually beating those teams. A team like the Celtics, they've been struggling, and especially with them making a move for Evan Fournier, that should definitely help them out, which in his Celtics debut he scored 0 points, but that should definitely not continue because he can be a scorer. He just had a bad night. That's really all it was. But yeah, Evan Fournier is going to help out that team. It's just like teams who were already in contention. I'm not saying the Celtics were actually in contention because their season is very debatable, but it's just I'm gonna be making a separate video on that probably because it's a very good conversation to have. But yeah, Andre Drummond is a Los Angeles Laker. I kind of thought he was going to go to Brooklyn at this rate because Brooklyn just seems like the best place to go on minimum contracts apparently. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Andre Drummond is going to affect this team very good. Obviously, he's going to, like I said before, he's going to be that, not third option, especially scoring wise, but he's going to be that another piece to use, especially at the big man position, especially because Marc Gasol didn't work out well for them, obviously, especially because if you have to think of a position that the Lakers need, the center is probably a good one to talk about. But with that being said, that will be the end of today's video, and I would like to thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys like this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe, and leave a comment. How do you think Andre Drummond is going to actually affect this team? Do you think he's going to just change the team overall? Do you think he's going to be bad? Just let me know, because a lot of people have different opinions on Andre Drummond in specific. But I will see you guys on the next video. Peace.